As we look to Friday to see what the storm will bring, two weather systems have dumped rain and snow on the U.S. from coast to coast, with more winter storms expected through the end of the week in parts of the country. Jared Hill has more on the impacts of the most recent wild weather week from New York.
Winter weather tragedy in Central California. This port collapsed under the weight of heavy snow. An 80-year-old woman trapped later died.
We just saw the activity and knew it wasn't good.
Sheriff's deputies in Central California rode snowmobiles to check on snowed-in residents.
The difference here is the storms just keep kind of coming back to back to back.
Further south, a state of emergency declared in San Bernardino County after several feet of snow trapped residents and shut down roads in the mountains.
I have, animals up there. His wife, my mom, is up there alone.
Meanwhile, heavy rains and melting snowpack triggered fears of mudslides in Los Angeles County, like this one that shut down Mulholland Drive. Across the country in the Northeast, something different. Families enjoying the snow day.
I really like sweating.
In New York, Monday night's snow turned to Tuesday morning slush. The treacherous and slick roads caused one car to spin out north of the city. A drop in temperature overnight is expected to further impact driving conditions.
Well, when you think of art, images of canvas, paint, or even an easel may come to mind. What might not come to mind is a computer algorithm. Our next guest is here to change your mind. Joining me today is Buffalo artist and author Michael Weber. Thank you for coming into the Daytime Studio today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I want to know more about your background because you're really first and foremost a photographer.
Sure,
right?
sure. So photography is my passion. Almost coming up on 20 years of photography.
Oh, wow.
And I mainly do, weddings, portraits, families, but I always like to catch the moments in between the pose shots, where all the magic happens. Catching those natural moments, but I always like to take creative, tangents off my photography. So I've had a lot of entrepreneurial projects. I had a skateboard company for a little while where the graphic of the board was one of my photographs and then edited to make a graphic. A small apparel line with like shirts and hoodies and merchandise where the photography was like kind of like the base image for it, and then logos and other branding was added on top of it.
Talk to me about how AI comes to play with your work.
Sure. So this is relatively new and it's kind of growing, and it's growing exponentially. And AI, in a sense, people have looked at where like it's going to replace my job. People are getting nervous about stuff, but I take it as something I can embrace and kind of pivot and kind of use to my advantage. So with AI imagery, you can kind of set up a base image based on just what you want to see, colors and different things like that. So with my photography has taken a front seat to that, where I'm using my technical terms from my photography knowledge to kind of tailor these images to how I would want it.
I see. So you can kind of manipulate the images, like you get your raw images,
right,
and then you're able to use AI intelligence to kind of manipulate and bring even more beauty to it.
Yeah, you can do both. So they have ways where you can take a photograph I've taken, put it into AI, not so much like a filter like most people know, just like filters. This is more taking the image, tweaking actual parts of the image, and even changing the lighting, the focus, the aperture, the depth of field, all of those elements. And so I can talk about one of these if you'd like me to.
Yeah, what they're looking at right now is images from your book that just came out, right?
Yes.
Just talk to me about this.
So I published this a week ago.
Oh, wow, congratulations.
It's available now. It's my first publication, self-published. So basically, with my daughter, we were just using AI, and we're trying to create just like cute like animals, but in real life situations, like in the forest. And we made one that had a scarf on it. That's Olivia the owl right there. My daughter's name is Olivia. And it kind of snowballed, and we're like, these animals look really cute. And so I kept making base images of these animals with scarves. Took that into Photoshop and used my technical, knowledge from photography, change the lighting, was able to reshape things, detail it, reshape. Like for instance, this is one I made where I just asked AI, I'm like, give me a buffalo just in a forest, and it just gave me like something like this. So originally this was completely differently shaped. So I kind of shaped that into more of a buffalo sense. I had I wanted it to be like autumn, so I had some red leaves, and then it created like a glow here, and I'm like, well, this glow needs to have a source. So I went and I just learned how to make neon-looking lighting on letters, put that on there, and then it's a finished piece of wall art. So I was doing this, and then when I made the toys for the book, so when you look at the book, if you go to, like, if you're looking at Hammy the hamster here, adorable fellow, this blurred background is creating the illusion of a shallow depth of field. So it's focused here, it's not focused there. So when I'm manipulating and doing everything, I'm using my photography terms and you know, that technical knowledge that I spoke about to kind of tweak this here, add some details here. Sometimes AI, you know, makes a lot of mistakes. It's nowhere near perfect, but it keeps evolving. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of struck down the hammer when I saw that like a lot of this stuff was possible, and I put all these images together, and I just think like maybe like a young kid could or a young child could look at these, and it's, you know, it's like an early you know, they don't have to follow along with a story. It's an early participation type of book where they can just read the name, look at the animal, know that it's cute, and go to the next one.
Well, I love that you made this for your daughter. This is awesome. If you would like to go out and get this book, it's on Amazon, correct? Yes. We have that information for you as well. We have that right there at Micah Weber. That's where you can go to for his page, and then you can also go to his Instagram, and then I'm sure you have links over to your Amazon.
Absolutely.
Site. All right, thank you so much. That was really cool stuff. We appreciate having you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So to come, celebrating women all month long. March is Women's History Month, and we're kicking it off with a bang. We've got the latest on a big event set to celebrate female storytellers. Keep it here.